right? And some of those charter networks have particular policies, like silent lunches for first graders. Right? Now, if you want to engage in torture of a young person, put them in a silent lunch. Now, there are other schools that will not begin instruction unless young people are in the frisk position. Right? Hands down, forward. Now, you are also directed to walk on lines with your hands behind your back. Now, these aren't the high schoolers, these are the babies. So if you have a school system that asks young folks to engage in dehumanizing behavior every day, what are you telling those young folks about their own self-worth? Now, there's a historian named Saidiya Hartman who has a very harrowing take on this, and I believe her. She says that we should understand these things as the afterlife of slavery. Right? You are reminding those young people that they are captive and they will be punished for anything that comes out of their way. I mean, and what's the rationale? And we got schools in Chicago that are delivering 60 to 100 assessments per week. Right? So what kind of learning is happening there? Right? And what do young folks do because they're smart? Reject this thing that we're telling them is so good. Right? So we have to redefine our commitment to education, because what we actually are reifying now is school. And regular school has done little to nothing for the last 200 plus years. Right? Because when we look at our education, let's do a straw poll, and I'm glad the camera is on for this. By a show of hands, how many folks would say that they learned the majority of what they needed in life outside of school? Then what are we doing? What is happening? If y'all can name that, what are we doing? Right? We're just in this kind of state form compliance. Right? Rewarded, because we know the piece. You're rewarded for being quiet. You're rewarded for staying in line. You're rewarded for turning in the paper that's halfway legible. Right? Because as a teacher, the program to be like, all right, look, I can read it. Okay, yeah. Right? So now when we break from that, there's a whole lot of stuff that's going to come up around school, and I want to understand our schools as places that are potentially hostile and violent. And I want to interrupt the concept of a school to prison pipeline. I want us to think about a school and prison nexus. So the school and prison aren't things that you travel to, they are the same thing. So if they're the same thing, and you got disciplinary strategies that read in the data the same way Black, brown, Pacific Islander, indigenous young folks, always suspended and expelled, with a majority white teaching force, we got to disconnect. And that's what happens.
Free Minds, Free People is a space that was created to bring people from different sectors, settings, contexts who are working for education for liberation across the country. So we have young people and organizers, activists and researchers, professors and parents, and folks who are really trying to get free through education and to really resist a system that has not been serving Black and brown people well since the very beginning.
Is radical love, is radical healing, is radical possibility. And that's exactly what I feel here from every conversation, from every preliminary, like when I walk into the beginning in the mornings and the assemblies, everybody together, the spirit, free minds, free people, free, right? Like you feel that, like there's something special coming to a space like this that's unique to just this space. So I feel radical love, radical healing, and radical possibility in a world and in a space where that's desperately needed.
We're born free, and we live in a world and in a time where everything is done to make us believe that we're not. And I think being free is setting your own agenda. You're not constrained by the systems, that you are not only guided by what was or what should be, but what you want to be. What is it that you want to manifest? What's not working right and you feel in your bones that it shouldn't be that way? And being free to acknowledge that, to act on that, and to be our most audacious, bold, creative self.